Anyone who's been to this channel knows that I 3D print. I've been doing it for a couple years now. Now in January of this year, well at Christmas, I got a resin printer. And it was an Anycubic Photon. It was a great little printer. I enjoy it. It's great. The prints I've done are pretty cool. You've seen my samurai amulet and other things I printed off. And then a few months back, I did a review of the CR10V2 FDM printer for Mech Solutions, a company local to me up here in Canada. Well, they liked their response to the video. The video had over 600 views and comments, and apparently they got some sales out of it. So they've asked me to do some more. So the other day, I just received this. Greetings, Dave here, DCPFX, bonus video. This is a package that arrived just the other day from my friends at Mech Solutions. Henry and Edward have been after me to do some more reviews. So this is, of course you can't tell by the box, it's a brown box. This is the new Anycubic Photon Mono SE. So I told them I would do an unboxing video and also a review. So right now this is going to be the unboxing. So I will obviously edit this, but yeah, here we go. Don't know any technician who doesn't carry a knife. So let's see what we have here. Let's see here, we've got the, well, Chinese. Oh, hey, this paper can use for leveling. So they actually do include a leveling sheet of paper, which it's a sheet of paper. Anyway, and instructions. I'm not wearing my glasses because they tend to reflect badly, but yeah, I can sort of read this. Yeah, I can do this. I've already done a photon. I've leveled a photon array, so I know what I'm doing, but here we go. All right, so here we have, what do we got here? We got power supply, and then the cable that plugs into the power supply. Oh, a good scraper. I found that the scraper on the Photon was really kind of lackluster, but that's got a decent edge on it. Look at that. That'll be quite nice. A little angle to it too. And let's see, a screwdriver for, I assume that's for the leveling. Or, well, it's not a screwdriver, it's more of a hex bit. And pass inspections, okay. And what do we have here? This is, oh, okay, there's your Allen key. What do we got here? Oh, the knob, the Wi-Fi antenna, oh, the USB drive. According to what I've read, this also has on it the new slicer. The slicer is proprietary, well, not proprietary, but it has all the settings in it. The newest one, I went looking for it the other day. This is version 0.23, whatever the starting pieces are. But this is .23. I went looking for it on Anycubic site. It's not there. Version 0.21 is there, but this is 0.23. So yeah, this is got all the settings it needs for the Photon Mono SE. And we've got gloves, and we've got another smaller plastic scraper. Okay, after sale service card, which I didn't buy it, so I'm not sure. Gloves, mask. Okay, I had tons of gloves. I have masks. I have everything I need because I already have the Photon. So let's get to the guts of the machine. I'll put this over here. Well, and here we are, the Mono SE. So let me do a little assembly on here, and I will be back in a minute. Okay, so I'm back. I had to take a quick little break there because The magnetized thing is amazing because the handle wasn't on. To get this open, I struggled a bit to get it open. I figured they didn't need to see that. So I've added the handle. And then inside we have the build plate. And what else we got in here? And some filters. So it doesn't come with any resin, so I'm glad I've got some. So we have here, the first thing I noticed about this is really nice, if you look inside here, that dual guide rails. I think there are some upgrades available for the Photon, but this has got a double on here, so that is quite nice. That'll help keep it from shaking as it goes up. So we have our FEP, well, our tray. Now, one thing I will say, I know it's really nice with the Frozen Mini that they've made this out of plastic so you can see what's going on. The one thing about 3D printing is you never know, other than listening to hear it coming off the FEP, you never know actually if it's working or not. So I wish they had done that with this one, but you know, that's it'll work. Hey, that's kind of cool. You can hear the echo off the FEP, so obviously the FEP is quite right. Now this is the Mono SE. So the Mono SE means that it has a monochrome screen. What that means is it's going to be a whole lot faster. I cheated a little bit. I did take the USB out and I loaded the software. I took a look at some of the things I've printed on my regular Photon, and wow, for the regular settings. We'll see how it works with the resin I have, but it's amazing for what it's doing. My Samurai Amulet, which I've shown before, there it is. When I printed that on the original Photon, it was 215, 220, something like that to print it, and that's at high resolution, and as you can see, it came out pretty nice. When I run it through the slicer for this one, under an hour. So we'll see. We'll see. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to sort of get all this plastic off of here, and I'm going to sort of get in, and then we'll get to leveling the build plate. Okay, got all the plastic off. This is UV treated, well, safe, so that when you're running things, you don't have to worry about putting on glasses to look at it. UV lights are bad for your eyes. That's why sunglasses are rated for UVA, UVB. This is fine to do that. So just a quick look at the machine here. We've got, they've got the handle on there, and we have here our build plate. I'm just about to fire it up, so we'll raise it up and we'll level the plate. But we've got our touch screen, and then on the side, power, obviously, USB needed. But on the back here, something a little special. There is a spot for a Wi-Fi antenna. With this software, well, on the card it comes with a link to download the software. What you can do with this is you can monitor over Wi-Fi. So you can use the app on your phone and see where am I at, where am I at, where am I at. So if you're far away, or say you're doing a long print and you don't want to sit in wherever your printer is all day, you can run the app. In theory, I haven't tried it yet, but I will, obviously. So now what we're going to do is we're going to fire it up. So we got the power port back here. I've got the power plugged in. We get that set like that. Here, build plate out. And here we go. So here we are. So on your touchscreen here, you've got all the things you need to do. So what we're going to do here is first get this open up. And let's take a look at the system. Language, we want to, no, don't want to change that. So I want English, yes, thank you. And then info tells you all about the version of the Photon. So the version 1.5 and the other things. The link, I'll look at that. I believe that is for hooking up to the Wi-Fi. So let's see how that works. Link access point. Is that doing anything? I don't know. And we'll get to that. I'll look at that later. I'll look into the system. Main thing is let's get this started here. So we'll get back out. We'll go to the tools. We will move our Z, and we're going to go up. That is actually very smooth, and actually sounds like Iron Man. Same sound effect, which is not sound effect because it's actually doing something. So this is our build plate here. They did a little bit different way of doing this with this build plate. If you look at the old Photon, which you don't have one in front of you, so you don't have it, but this is a little bit different, and what I like is the way that they've done the leveling. Oh, geez, that is on there tight. All right, give me a sec here. Well, that sucker's never moving once you set that, I tell you what. Okay, so this plate does that. So the way they recommend doing the leveling is really quite interesting. I'm going to take the tray out of here. The way they recommend doing the leveling in this one is get it on here, tight, get her flat, and then you want to go home. Where's our leveling paper? I move that over here. So what you do with this now, rather than taking a piece of paper and just sort of maybe putting it, all you do is, because there's play on this, push down with the paper there to give you that little bit of extra room. Push down so it's level across all of them, and then just tighten up that. Now that, I think, is going to be pretty tight. What I'm going to do is I'll lift it up now and I'll give it another quick little tighten. But now that we've done that, so it's in, it's down, and it's quite solid. Now what you need to do now, this is, if you've done resin printing before, you know that this is the next step. But if you haven't, this is something you need to do. We have now the paper leaving as a guide. So that gives you that thickness of the FEP. The FEP is on the tray here. So what we need to do is we set that to 0, and that is 0. So now that we've done that, we've told the system this is 0. This is as low as you go. So now I just hit enter again. And pull it out, pull out the leveling paper, and you're good to go. So that's leveling. This is much easier than on the Photon. Now I only have the Photon, I don't have the S, I don't have the Photon. So this is a nice system. I've seen some of the newer ones coming, and I think more of them are doing this, but this makes it really easy to get things level. So far so good. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put some resin, well, put the tray in, put some resin in, load up a couple of files. Oh, I'll take some files off of the USB and give it a print. Okay, so I've got the resin in. I'm using Anycubic White. I found this worked out really well for me. Other people, they swear by Elegoo or something else. I like this. I have other ones. I've got some Anycubic Clear, which I'm going to use later as well. But I think just the white is fine. Just it goes back to my old days as a resin prop maker. Silicone molds and then resin. I usually just chose white because white was easy, and then you sand it down and that was good. So we'll just take the USB into here. And see, we will get out of here, and we will get out of here, and we'll go to print. What is on here? We have the RERF, R-E-R-F. That is like a stress test. It prints various angles and things like that. I think I'll do that one first, and then we have the Anycubic cube. So I'll run this, and we're gonna see what happens here. So you just choose it, and then the screen here is quite nice. Some really good resolution on that, just because it's a little touchscreen, but it looks good. You get a better idea of what your print is going to be. And here we go. Now, I don't know if you heard that or not. It's sometimes hard to hear, but there's a little pop that you want to hear. What is happening here is the FEP, or the film on the bottom of the tray, is letting the UV light come through. So this is photosensitive or photo curing resin. What happens is when it's exposed to 405 nanometer light, UV light, it cures. So it shines through here. So when you're playing around, you hope to hear that sound of that little pop. What it is the pop is coming off of the FEP. It's when you don't hear that things are most likely stuck to your FEP. That's the beginning of the headaches of resin printing. Once you get it working and dialed in, you always listen for that pop. I've done some big things that have worked, and I've done some big things that haven't worked. There's that little pop again. Now the first couple layers are going to be long exposure, because you want to have a long exposure to have it stick to the build plate. But then after that, once you get down to it, They're saying that this actually, you can do it at a 1 second exposure. A lot of resins out there, especially on the old Photon, are 5, 6, 7, 8 second exposure. This is saying 1 second exposure will do it because the monochrome LCD, sorry, that's doing it is, it only has one color to work with. It hammers it out, and it's supposed to have a much higher life. So, you know, where you get 500 hours on an old one, you get 2,000 hours on this one before you need to swap it out. So I'm gonna let this run, see what this does, and I'll come back and check with it later. So here we are. I don't know, half an hour later, maybe less than that, maybe 20 minutes later, and we're at the final steps. We're at layer 265 of 303. You can still hear it just ripping off the FEP. We'll see what's underneath here in a couple minutes. In looking at this as I'm sort of watching it go, I'm thinking that Anycubic set this to be at about 3 seconds per layer, which on the Photon I'd be doing 6 or 7 or 8. So there is definitely, there is a change here. It seems to be running quite nicely. And the motion is just so fluid with that dual Z. It's really quite nice. Another thing I am noticing too is they did say in the literature this one is much more fume friendly, as in not as many fumes coming out. I'm not smelling anything. With the Photon, sometimes I run it in the office and I'll do, like, you know, a run of Samurai MS, so it's print and print and print and print and print. At the end of the day, I get kind of headachy, you know, all the fumes in the air, but I'm not getting anything out of this. And that's even, I'm running it with it open just because I want to watch it. So far, yeah, so far this is pretty good. Now, obviously I need to run more prints, but I'm liking this so far. So here we go, the last 2 layers to go. Let's see what we get. Like I said, you can't see anything because the metal of the bat. Who knows what's going on underneath the hood there, so let's take a look. And here we go, the final layer. Let's see what we get here. Here it comes. Did we have something? My oh my, I got a late. So that means this sucker is level. Let me show you. Okay, well, let's take a look. Look at that. So that is the RERF, the R-E-R-F. I'm not sure what that stands for, but that is a very level build plate. Now the next steps are to dunk this in some isopropyl alcohol to wash off the extras. I don't need to show you that. I'll show you that later when I get into a deeper review, but I'm going to just clear this off and I'm going to start the next piece. Okay, so first set done, the RERF, I'm going to put it in the curing station and let it get a little hard. I'm now going to run the Anycubic Cube. That's the other file that comes with it. Let that run and we'll see what that comes up with, and then I'll throw a few of my own designs out here and see what happens. But so far, yeah, I'm pretty impressed with what this thing can do. Check back later. Okay, here we are 3.5 hours later. I'm printing the other file that's on the card. It's a cube. Well, it's a lattice. It's pretty intricate. If you can see here, well, I'll just show a better picture in a second. It's a little bit wonky. Now, I'm not sure what resin they had planned to use on the file, so that's probably a big part of it. This is, you know, just standard Anycubic white, and I see a lot of times Anycubic is sending out like the clear, which have a different, you know, cure time and everything else. But, you know, it printed, you know, it did print. Like I say, a little bit wonkiness, but that's just mere just dialing in the resin. So let's just see how this finishes off. We are just a couple layers away from being done. We'll raise up. I'll give it a quick clean and I'll give you my final thoughts on this printer as an unboxing. Obviously, it's not a full review. I'll do that after I get a few more prints out of it. So let's see, we're just about there. Let's see, I think there's 2 more layers to go and then this will rise up. And here we go, done. So as you can see, it's not perfect. I'll bring it up in a closer second, but it's a little wonky, but it did print and there's no failures in it. There's nothing that I can see that has fallen over or done anything weird. So there we go, the 2 test files. Now the next thing for me to do is to throw some of my own files at it and see what it does. Do my own supports, do my own exposures, and anyway. So here it is. Let's say a little bit of wonkiness there, a little bit of lines out, but still not. That's not bad at all. All right, let me throw it in the curing station. Well, clean it and then cure it. Okay, all done, all cleaned and cured. So here we go. So that is pretty intricate. A small little piece on, where are we here, on the Anycubic. Also, when I was removing it, the base came off. But, you know, this is photoreactive resin. So I just dipped a little bit into the vat and stuck it on the piece where it came off and held it under the UV light for a couple of seconds and voila, solid. So, you know, this is a glue. Well, you see some of the glue kits out there and fix your sunglasses and put the glue on and run the UV light over it. It's the same thing. It's the same process. So there's the cube, the matrix. And then here is one of the resin exposure tests. This I think is the best one of the 4. There was some discussion on the Anycubic Photon Facebook page about this, and I said, well, I got all 4. And someone said, well, they're there for, you know, to test that. I said, well, yes, they are. They're there to test and have some fails, but I didn't make the file. Anycubic did. So the fact that I got it all onto the bed, onto the thing, and it didn't come off, that to me tells me that it's nice and level. And the bits with this is just, it's a little bit wonkiness because of, you know, the resin types. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna try some different resins. I got some clear, and I've got some monocure, and I've got some ABS-like from Elgoo, and I've got other things to try. I'll give a couple different ones a whirl and see how that works. So this is an unboxing. This isn't a review. This is sort of an unboxing and showing. How do I think about this? I have a Photon. Now I'm playing with a Mono SC. Faster. Definitely faster. Definitely. This cube on my Photon took about 7 hours. This took 3.5. As I said earlier, the Samurai M that I'm going to print is over 2 hours on the Photon, and it is 58 minutes on the Mono in the slicing software. Is it easy to use? Yeah, it is if you know what you're doing. I have a Photon, so I've set it up. I know how to do it. I was up and working in 5 minutes. I know how to level the bed. I know how to do that. That's just trial and error. That's something I've done before. If you're getting started, 10, 15 minutes, it's already done. There's nothing to assemble. You know, put on a knob, level the bed. It's all done it here. The early versions, you have to sort of do it yourself and, you know, hope and pray. This is pretty easy. Even comes with your leveling sheet. Anyway, neither here nor there. It's a piece of paper. Would I recommend this? Sure, it's a great printer, and as I said earlier, the you know, the fumes are a whole lot less than they are with the Photon. So, you know, they've done some changes to make it a little bit better. And you turn that off. It's a nice system, and then, you know, the 2 rails for the Z-axis. That's nice. You know, there's less Z-wobble, as they say. I think this is a great little, this is a good start, considering these are just hitting the wild now. Even on, you know, Anycubic site, you know, there's a limit of 1,000 you can buy. So obviously they're just still coming out, and I'm going to put this through the paces, but for just starting out, yeah, I like it. It's a nice printer. The speed's nice. The quality's there. So we'll see what happens when I throw some of my files out of it and see what that does. So that's it for today, and hopefully someone enjoyed this. Hopefully you got something out of this, and well, thanks for coming by. And thanks for the new subscriber. I got a new subscriber this week, and I appreciate that. And if, you know, if you're thinking about subscribing, hey, I'm doing stuff like this all the time, and maybe you're thinking about getting into resin printing, you have some ideas or some questions or something. I noticed even on the Anycubic site, when I said, here's what I've got, a few people, well, what about this? What about this? It's like, I'm just a printer, same as you guys. Just the fact that I'm demoing a unit or, you know, reviewing a unit just because, well, I was asked to. So thank you for dropping by, and we'll talk to you all later.